Welcome to the Moonlit Glade, where tonight we'll have Chapter 2 of The Hunter and the Sphinx. As it begins on this day, the Sphinx is keeping out of sight, but kind of spying on the hunter as he takes a couple on a guided hunting tour. The hunter doesn't seem to be having a hugely great time with this pair. People is a bit of a loose word, but this pair of humanoid aliens are called Mastonis. The Mastonis have a humanoid form, but they have a rather long elephant-like nose, and they have a tendency to make a lot of noise and trumpet their words as they speak, as opposed to being quiet. Not so good for a hunt. As the Sphinx watched from the bushes, the Mastonis were making a lot of noise, to the frustration of the hunter, and the Sphinx couldn't help but laughing to herself at the hunter's efforts to keep the Mastonis from making too much noise. I hope they're hunting something that is deaf, or they will have a hard time, thought the Sphinx. As it happened, the hunter was leading them on a hunt of about the only creature you could possibly sneak up on with a pair of Mastonis, the Gargantor. Gargantor are rather large, giant sloths, pretty much, that grow upwards of 10 feet tall and don't move terribly quickly. They don't have too many natural predators, but so they're not too skittish, and even if they were, they don't move too terribly quickly. The Mastonis were carrying firearms, and Hunter had his bow at the ready in case it was needed, but chances are it wasn't going to be. Sure enough, they eventually followed the trail of a large Gargantor, and the pair of Mastonis were able to make their shots. Hunter didn't need to do anything on this occasion. The Sphinx congratulated the hunter to herself as she watched from the foliage. The hunter went and secured a few of the internal parts of the Gargantor for himself, and then helped the Mastonis place their trophy onto a little cart that they carried behind them, and took it back to the city. Well, at least the Mastonis went back to the city. Hunter went back to his campsite and started cleaning up after his travels. As the Sphinx came closer to the hunter's campsite, the hunter called out, "That you out there, old Miss Sphinx?" The Sphinx, "Wow, you detected me." Well, not quite, but it kind of felt like somebody's been keeping eyes on me. I couldn't quite ever see who or what. Well, it was me, indeed. Oh, so have you been following me all day long? Well, I have indeed, laughing at you as you attempted to take those noisy brutes on a hunt. You can laugh, but it was not funny trying to get those guys to be quiet enough to sneak up on anything. Oh, but it was funny for me, laughed the Sphinx. Said Hunter. Well, maybe I shouldn't give you what I saved for you then. What did you you say for me? Asked the Sphinx. Well, only the most delicate parts from the inside of that Gargantor. Oh, those are some of my favorites, said the Sphinx. Well, here you go, just because I'm nice. And I thought that it might have been you out there. I decided I would save some since the Mastodons don't need those anyway. Well, thank you. So, how did you find me anyway? Well, I may have marked you. You what? Well, when we hung out together some days ago, I have a sphinxy ability that allows me to keep tabs on things or people if I choose to. Oh, really? So you have a tracking device on me? No, nothing so primitive. You could call it almost a mental note as to where you are. Okay. Well, whatever. Don't misuse it. Fine. Don't worry. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the innards. And with that, the Sphinx loped off through the jungle. Hunter shook his head to himself. There's more to that Sphinx than meets the eye. I'm sure I'll find out more about her eventually. So, well, let's get cleaned up and get some dinner on. The hunter cleaned himself up, made his camp, went to bed. In the middle of the night, the hunter startled awake with this feeling of dread coming from somewhere. He really did not know what was causing this feeling to be overwhelming him at where he was, and so he quickly dressed and put his gear on and went out of his camp, and you could tell that it was a directional feeling of dread, and it came from the direction that Sphinx last went off in. Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. Quite literally, Hunter said to himself, and crept off through the jungle in the direction of the dread. As he crept through the jungle, he could hear rustling and crashing from some distance away. Carefully approaching, couldn't see what the heck was going on, but there was something moving through the trees with great speed, and could not see what it was. It was just too dark. Well, he thought to himself, no help in it. Gotta use a piece of my gear. He reached into his pack and pulled out his old night vision goggles. Well, here we go. As he put the goggles on and tried to focus in on where the movement was coming from, he thought, oh no. It's a Sphinx, all right, like I thought. But there's also a Malacanth in there. Now, a Malacanth is a very dangerous nocturnal creature, more lizard-like than anything, with powerful short legs with claws and very sharp teeth, a longish tail, and it tended to be the size of a lion, and very vicious. The Malacanth was trying to catch the Sphinx as she tried to get away through the trees, but it wasn't able to gain any distance on it, as the Malacanth is a very excellent climber. The powerful claws dug into the trees and able to leap and follow the Sphinx. Things were not going well for the Sphinx. So Hunter quickly drew his bow and took aim. When he thought he had a clear shot, he let fly with an arrow which managed to pierce through a part of the Malacanth's neck. Malacanth, not too pleased at this, stopped where it was, but did not look like it was terribly bothered by it. This was disconcerting. Malacanth began running towards the hunter, leaping out of the trees to land on the ground and tear at him in a frantic pace. Hunter notched another arrow quickly and let fly, which took the beast in the left shoulder, but it kept coming. Hunter was not going to get a chance to notch another arrow before the Malacanth was upon him, so he quickly dropped his bow and drew his knife, preparing to dash and roll out of it, the beast's charging path. As the Malacanth closed on him, he leapt to the side and slashed out with his knife and grazed the right front leg of the Malacanth, and as he tucked into a roll and came up ready to defend himself, the Malacanth came to a sliding halt and rounded on him again. This is going to be trouble. As the Malacanth came at him again, he was a touch slower due to its front legs both being injured, but it was still far too fast for Hunter to be able to escape this. Hunter quickly dashed towards a large tree that was near him, the Malacanth closing on his heels. Hunter quickly ran up the tree with his legs and backflipped onto the back of the Malacanth, plunging in with his knife into the creature's back of its neck, and reached around and held on to its neck for all he was worth as it thrashed. Things were in a bit of a jam now as he let go, as the creature rolled around, crushing him beneath it as it rolled. He was going to be in trouble. Just when he thought he was not going to be able to hold on, the Sphinx appeared and used her talons to rip through the creature's neck. Malacanth, at last, was still. "Oh my god," said the hunter. "What the heck are you doing with a Malacanth?" "Well," the Sphinx shivered as the adrenaline began to wear off. "I wasn't planning on dancing with the Malacanth tonight. They're not really supposed to be around these parts." "No kidding," said the hunter. "And what the heck, is that you making that awful feeling of dread?" "Oh, yes, that was me," said the Sphinx. "I'm so glad I guessed right." "You guessed right." "Well, I guessed that if I sent out a really strong feeling of dread, you were going to be a light enough sleeper, you would find it and be the sort that would go towards danger, not away from it." "That's a bit of a gamble." "Well," said the Sphinx, "I was a little out of options. I thought you had sphinxy abilities to deal with creatures." "I do," said the Sphinx, "but they don't work very well on the Malacanth." "Oh, and why is that?" asked the hunter. Well, the Malacanths don't use their eyes." "What?" "Well, so they're mostly underground and nocturnal, and they don't really need them to use their other senses, mostly. So what's that got to do with your abilities?" "Well," said the Sphinx, "well, in order for me to pacify, shall we say, one of these creatures, I have to be able to look into its eyes, and since they don't run around with open eyes, I can't stop them. They're one of the scarier things out in the world, these jungles, that I really don't want to run into." "Well," learn something new, said the hunter. It's a good thing that, well, yeah, a lot of good things about all of this, but at least we don't have to worry about this Malakant. Although it really is way too close to the city for its normal habit, its normal routes. You don't usually see them anywhere near civilization. I wonder what would have driven this one so close to the city. Well, probably nothing good, said the Sphinx. Well, good thing I also had these night vision goggles still. They sure came in handy because I couldn't tell what the heck was going on in those trees. Well, so why do you have night vision goggles, Sir Hunter? Well, Tien. See, I still remember your name. I used to be a Spartan in my previous life. A Spartan? Wow, really? Yes, it was as a soldier. I fought many dangerous space battles, planet battles, all over the place. I decided I was tired of that sort of life and wanted a more quiet and peaceful existence. Malakath wasn't exactly in the plans. But, yeah, so I kept some of my gear. I don't like to use it unless I really need it because, well, I prefer to bring things up from my past life if I don't have to. Well, understandable. Well, I'm certainly glad you were able to be of assistance with that bow and arrow. That Malakath was proving to be difficult to lose. They can run for a long time, and he's not guaranteed to get away. Well, at least that's one less Malakath in the world to worry about. Well, I need to try to get some sleep. I have to go find more work for tomorrow, so back to my campsite for me. Well, thank you, Sir Hunter, for your assistance. I shall be somewhere, but you won't know where, because I'm a Sphinx, and I don't share. Good night. And with that, the Sphinx